Hello, everyone. Welcome. We're going to start right now. You guys ready? Well, I'm probably not. You guys know how I am. All right, give me just a second because I got several screens going. I got to position them right. How is everyone? Welcome. We don't have anybody that we don't know yet. So, welcome. Hey, Rebecca, how are you? Tina, how are you? Sandy, how are you? So glad you guys made it. Kathy, how are you? Um, Rebecca, for some reason, I got this um, feeling. I guess it was a thought. A feeling like in this retrograde, you're going to find out why that position. Like, I feel like maybe it wasn't right. And you're going to find out the reason it wasn't right. I don't know. I just got that. When I saw your name, I saw that thought came in my mind in this retrograde. So, welcome everyone. For those of you that don't know me and will be watching this later, my name is Cindy. Um, I am a psychic medium. I love astrology. So, we're going to just hang out today. We are starting today. Mercury has stationed retrograde. It's an important one because, well, they're all important. It's an important one for me because it's conjunct. Can y'all see my pointer? Uh, it's conjunct Venus, right? And there is something about this house that we are trying to form, that we are leveling. Yeah, I'll just say that we are leveling up in this house, reforming our identity. Not only do we have these inner planets and they're retrograde, but we have these comets, and we have these or asteroids, and then no, this is a comet. Chiron's a comet. Um, is it a comet? Hold on a second. Now that's gonna bother me. Yeah, it's a comet. Um, okay. Yeah, my pointer. I know I have issues with that pointer. Okay, thank you. And then we've got these bigger planets, Neptune, um, and so Neptune and Saturn, they're all coming here, but there's an even bigger picture. As soon as Neptune comes here, he is going to, they've already started kind of, uh, Pluto and Neptune have started sextiling. As soon as Neptune comes over here, they're going to be stronger in this sextile. And this sextile is a bigger story going on. It's going to be sextiled for a while. Like, because Neptune's going to be here till 2039, and it's going to sextile most of that time, um, as it goes retrograde and then Neptune goes retrograde. But when it's with Saturn and comes over here, that's the sextile here with manifestation. And then there's an even bigger one because as soon as July hits, Uranus is coming here, and that's going to be um, so you see how Saturn and all that is sextiling Jupiter right now. But Uranus coming into Gemini is a huge thing too. Um, so it's going to be sextile. So this Neptune is going to be sextile um, Uranus, right? It's in Taurus right now, so it's not yet. But then it's going to be sextile Pluto, and then Pluto is going to be trine, right? So there's going to be like this arrow kind of going on, right? It's almost like the Trinity triangle holding this space for like the next 5 years as you're working in here, as we as a community are working in here, as a society, as a globe, right? So this house is like really important for us as I'm looking at, because I was doing April's, And I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm looking all the way into 2027 with these bigger outer planets, and I'm seeing like eventually all of these are going to like trine, and they're going to continue to sextile. So there, and it's like headed here. Okay, so it's really, really important. It's a major focus for us, from our self to the society to the globe. Okay, so um, yeah. So anyway, um, I'm deep in study right now because it's like every time I want to talk about one thing, another planet is talking to me, and then it's like giving me the bigger story of what's coming on. So today we're just going to talk about Mercury retrograde, and it's important. It's a focus for us because it's got Venus retrograde here. And remember, they're both going to go back over here. Okay. So I mainly just want to hang out, but I just want to say things about Mercury retrograde. I'm going to say them over. You guys in my group know all of this, but just in case there are people that have never seen me before, yes, you're going to have the delays, and that's going to really irritate you. So whatever delays, whatever miscommunication, whatever processing you figure out, like wherever Aries is in your chart, it's going to be irritating. It's not going to sit well like it usually sits well. But if you've cleared some of this stuff, right, and you have the patience, and you're not like me who has to work on patience, right? Then it's not going to rub you the wrong way as much, right? The reason I'm saying it's going to irritate you is because we're in Aries. Aries does not like the delays. Aries does not like the miscommunication. Aries doesn't have time. Aries just goes, right? And so the fact that there's going to be some delays, some miscommunication, um, I can see an Aries, actually, I've seen an Aries, their phone just didn't do something right and they'll throw it, or they'll just like toss it over and onto the couch and be like, I'm not dealing with that, right? Like, that's the Aries energy that I'm getting for this retrograde, but it's really important because it's Venus, about keeping your boundaries, defining those boundaries as an independent person who is taking initiative in their life. That's what's going on. We're like forming all of this in this Aries, right? So wherever Aries is sitting in your chart, that place right now is being transformed from here to here. Okay. So that's really important. But just know that if it's that you don't have any grace and need to practice, if it's that you don't have much grace for yourself or compassion for yourself, maybe it's time to practice. This is what these two are here for. Okay. So, like on the surface level, you're going to hear all about Mercury retrograde. There's delays and there's, miscommunication. And yes, your phone might not be working and your computer might not be working, but I like to go deeper, right? And I was born with a Mercury retrograde, which is why you'll hear me honestly be like, and I have to think about it because I'm Mercury retrograde, right? So I really think about things before I mean, it's fast, but I really think about things before I say them, right? See, I do the but that's just kind of giving you a little bit of the energy. So those of you that have never seen me, I go deeper, right? And so there's a story trying to form here for us. It's a story that's about you and wants to be developed and experienced, right? So, um, if there's a story going on, right? And this is Aries. Aries is the child of the zodiac. Aries is the one that doesn't need anybody's permission to do what she wants to do. Like, she don't need it. She's going to do it and then tell you afterwards, right? But also she is the initiative, and she's very independent. And so there is something about this house in a part of your life, because each house is an area of your life, right? So in the area of your life, and my group, my membership, they already know what area of life they're working on. I did 12 videos explaining that they were each probably 30 minutes to an hour per sign, right? Where I explained what these next months up until 2026 are going to be, right? How these two houses are being activated. There's a transformation going on, right? So there's an area, this area of your life is being reworked. It needs focus. It wants to change things. It needs to develop, um, because that's what you wanted to do before you came here, right? Like you already knew this time was going to be past and you wanted this area of your soul to experience these things and develop in this way, right? So, hey Brittany, how are you? So if we're looking at the whole house, let's not forget about Chiron. Chiron has been in here. And then let's not forget that Neptune, not Neptune, sorry, North Node had been moving through here. So for 18 months, going through that portal and leveling, going through a different, um, into a different timeline or into a different vibration or into a different frequency, right? Different understanding. We had to know who we were, the identity, who are we? What am I identifying here? Like not who are we in our whole big self, right? But who am I trying to be here? Right? That's Aries, the identity, um, the independence, the initiative, right? With Chiron here, there is a wound that you are feeling on a personal level and on a global level. We see it in society, right? This wound of in Aries too. So there's a wound about how we can't identify, like it doesn't, like we try and we're being halted, or we had to work through some things, or our life just seemed like it wasn't like I know what I want to be, or I kind of know what I want to be, or I know more of what I want to be, but there's this, I can't. I'm being restricted. I feel odd. Like all of that is the Chiron wound, right? So I'm going to do a Chiron video on with this, and I'll let you guys know just a little bit about what I've written down. So there's a challenge there. Let me right here. So this Chiron wound. Now think when I'm telling you this, think about the surfeit. So think about your own personal, and then think about the wound of the society, of us as a group, right? So there is a challenge here somewhere about being you, being yourself, and there's restrictions here about you being, trying to be yourself, trying to identify as your true self of what you wanted to do here. Hey Shirley, how are you? So there's challenges around this. It's like, and then with Neptune and all this going on, remember these two are connected right now. Well, they're always connected, but these two are focused where there's a transformation trying to come, right? So there is this, I've always known who I am, but I kind of don't fit in, right? Like, and it maybe in your childhood, especially for those of us that have Chiron, we're born Chiron in Aries, or in the second house, right? It's like I've never, you may have been told you're just different. And that was wrong, right? Like why can't you just fit in? Why can't you just do what everybody else does? Why do you have to like make waves? Why do you have to do that, right? And so you learn to mask. You learn to adjust. You learn, that's, I'm trying to give you the wound of Chiron and Aries because on a societal level, we're dealing with that, right? And the reason I'm bringing it up is because now's the time to like look at this because these two are retrograde in here. And yes, we can say, oh, they're retrograde, they're going to make you blah, 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 and then they're going to go here. No, I wanted to get deeper, right? So I need y'all to, because the more we know, the more we know, right? Like we can do it this time instead of having it have to do it again and do it again and do it again, right? Like we've been doing that for eons. Like it's time to like get through these things and understand we don't have to live lives suffering. We don't have to live lives in trials and tribulations. We don't have to live those types of lives. That we're trying to get to this place that we're done with that, right? So, don't forget. I thought you said don't forfeit. Don't forget to smash the like and the share button. Thank you. I appreciate it. And get this out to people. You can share it out. I'm dubbed now, so I wonder if how they'll do it with lives while I'm live. I mean, with AI, it's probably fine. Like they can do it. Um, yes, and please, you can email me if you'd like a reading, if you want to come sit with me and we can talk about what's going on with you. Because I do mediumship, I do hypnosis and astrology. I do lots of things, but you're welcome to email me if you'd like to see me in private. So back to this. Remember what Venus is trying to help us understand about ourselves. So if we take Aries and say this this thing that's highlighted, this area of my life that's highlighted, that I'm trying to identify as, that has this wound that makes me feel like I can't identify as that, whether there's challenges, whether there's people, whether there's, whatever this is, it's making me not be able to identify as the true self that I am, right? And for those of you that this is a transit, it's this area of life that's become a focus for you. Okay, so things will start coming up where you thought you were okay in that area of life, but you're not, because you're trying to re-identify yourself, right? You're trying to become independent in this area. You're trying to become fearless in this area. That's all Aries, right? And so Venus, who is not the chaser, she doesn't chase love and she doesn't chase beautiful things and she doesn't chase um, abundance, money. She doesn't do that. She attracts, right? And so maybe you were chasing because that's an Aries thing, right? Maybe you were going after it and she's like saying, calm down and just attract it, right? There are people in your lives that you're trying to chase, these relationships, because that's Venus. So there are relationships that you are trying to chase that you don't need to, right? You need to let go. We've just had this lunar eclipse, right? We've just had this lunar eclipse. You can go back and watch that video. I have put out the solar eclipse. You can watch that video to tell you where we're headed, right? But there is Venus here, what is trying to help you be the beauty, be the money, be the independent, be that, right? And so there are these red flags. There are these situations that you might be in that you don't know how to get out of yet, and that's okay. That's why Mercury's here. Mercury is the processor. Mercury helps you, gives you the courage. Mercury, again, he does delays. He does, retrograde. He's delay. He does all of that. But when he's retrograde, also with Venus, it's almost like helping you understand how you can see this. And again, we have Neptune because these are focused and connected right now. Neptune is at 29 degrees. Neptune is both things, illusion and delusion, right? So are you seeing it correctly? But also, are you imagining it and taking your power back and understanding? Because we have Pluto here. Are you taking your power? Are you understanding that you can navigate? Not go after, but you can navigate. You can navigate the way that your life is going. You get to have the power to say, no, you're not going to treat me this way. Or, no, I don't need to overwork for that. I can relax. I trust myself in the universe. I know how to make something out of nothing, right? These people that are around me that I've allowed to be around me, I see it. I've seen the red flags. I just don't know what to do with it. That's where Mercury retrograde comes in and kind of helps you process this, right? Venus wants you to be attracting what you want, not just going after. And she's in Aries, where Aries wants to go after. But she's saying the Aries part that we can use is being your own identity, of initiating things, right? You don't have to run after them and attach to them, but initiating is fine, right? Does that make sense to everybody? So that's what the challenge is right now with Venus and Mercury retrograde, but we are working with this wound, right? So some of us, all our lives have gotten so lost. It's not an easy answer. It may be a simple answer, but it's not an easy answer. Of I have put down for so long, right? This is an example. I've been told how to feel. I've been told what to do. I've been told how to act. I've been told since I was a child. And so now I have that habit. And I've been told for so long, not just by my parents, but by society, by my work, by my career, by the people around me, right? And so because that's been pushed down my true identity, because as a child I knew it, because that's been pushed down, I don't even know. I don't know. This is where Venus and Mercury come in, right? You do know, will help you get to it. I'll remind you that you need to nourish yourself. That's Venus. I'll remind you that there are still good people in this world and you can attract those. I'll remind you that there still is plenty of resources, still are plenty of resources, and that you can attract that. The way to attract that is to be your true self, because your true self always knew. But we have been told by society, for whatever reasons, because there's a lot. There's evil reasons, and then there's misconception reasons, right? There's lots of reasons why we were told. Okay, that part doesn't matter. Don't get stuck in the why. But you were told, and so let's undo this, right? Venus wants to remind you that you are worthy of love, that you are worthy of a good life, that you are worthy of the most beautiful, loving, in-depth relationships, right? And so we may be feeling it from Venus, but our core self has been hidden for so long and pushed down. She's just trying to bring that out. So she makes you look, she makes you think. Something that you wanted, you thought you wanted, she may not give that to you right now because she's like, that's not what you're really wanting. Try again, go within, let's look. That's what your parents wanted. That's what society wanted. That's what your lover wanted. That's not what you wanted. Let's look again. And this is where Mercury retrograde comes in and helps. Okay. Mercury gives you the courage to be able to have the compassion for yourself. Mercury gives you the strength and the courage to be able to understand your worthiness. You mean something in this world, every one of you. Okay? Does that make sense? This Mercury retrograde is really here to help in a deeper way than, than they say in astrology, than they're saying. And I just wanted to go a little bit deeper. I don't want us to forget about this Chiron moon. Because, yes, he's not directly, he doesn't have a lot of influence about which way you're going to go with this, but he's had it. He's got the underlying influence in this house. And because this is not a one-shot deal, oh, I'm going to fix it. No, this has been going on. We are transforming from here. So I wanted to give you the bigger picture of, let's not forget that he's got an underlying base here that we're having to get through as well. So let's not ignore Chiron, because Chiron is the physical wound, right? Chiron, that's not Pluto, that's psychological. It's both. So it's physical. Of course, we all get it from the psychology, right? But it's a physical wound, right? So you taking initiative may cause other people to go away. You taking initiative and trying to be independent may cause you to lose money at first, but it's going to cause you to gain so much more when you become your own. You being independent with this Chiron wound could cause you to, um, not have the job for right now, but then you get this bigger one, right? It's it's a Chiron wound, right? Does that make sense to everybody? So that's all I'll say about the retrograde. We're going to be going through it for 3 weeks, but actually four because that's shadow. So this time next month we'll be through that. Just because Mercury is retrograde, I want you to really use Mercury for retrograde. Use it. Don't think of it as it's a nuisance. Things are so frustrating because I do the same thing, and I was born with the Mercury retrograde. We have this habit of thinking that's going against us, but it's really not. It's helping us. So let's use it. Let's use this energy to help us, right? Let's use this energy to really process what it is that we are wanting to identify, right? That's Aries, to identify and initiate, that's Aries, with boldness and courage, that's Mercury, to attract, that's Venus, the things that we truly desire and feel worthy of. That makes sense? All right. That's it for my spiel. Anybody have any questions? If you guys could like and share this out, that would be great. Eventually, I will put this down into a video, probably in the next couple of days. Right now, I'm working on our April stuff. So, anybody have any questions? Anybody have any comments? Anybody want to chat? Say hello. How you doing? What's going on? Anybody? 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 Oh my gosh! Thank you guys for doing all the hearts while I was talking. I appreciate it. Rebecca was commenting about what I'd said earlier. I looked at her name and I saw, oh, she's going to find some stuff out. And so I just told her that, and she responded with, "You're so tuned into me. My life is crazy right now. Thank you." Of course. I'm doing a trial of it. Good. Positive changes, hopefully, to everyone. Well, it's always going to be, to me, it's always going to be positive changes, right? But it's a matter of how you perceive it, right? Yeah, it's a matter of how you perceive it. If Athena was here, I would have her explain to you like how it's going for her if she wanted to. I guess we could do it in the group about how this is kind of unfolding for her. So let me ask you guys the question: does anybody? Because we don't have to just talk about Mercury right now. We can talk about anything. So does anybody have? Has anybody had anything happen since the lunar eclipse? I mean, I know it was just day before yesterday, or yeah, at nighttime the day before yesterday. But has anybody had anything happen either prior to or right after? I know David did. Um, yeah. Anybody? Anybody want to talk? Nobody? I know y'all, when I get into that space and y'all get into the learning space, or I'm getting into the teaching space, but we can like shake that off and uh and talk. Because after we talk, I'm going to eat some lunch. I haven't eaten. I forgot again. I know. I know, Tina. I forgot. I'm sorry. It's a habit. I gotta undo the habit. So the other thing, I guess, prior, my son was hospitalized with rare infection. Wow. Is he okay? Oh, Sandy, I'm sorry to hear that. Is he okay? No. You'll see me looking down. I'm reading here too. Healing slowly. Okay. Wow. So sorry to hear that. Yeah, then my mind starts going to a lot of people. I mean, Tina and Kathy probably know what I'm talking about. But then my mind starts going to why these things aren't being taken care of by the medical professionals, which really pisses me off. So we're not going to get me on that rant. Y'all are being quiet. Oh, is it because Mercury's retrograde that y'all are being quiet? Right? Maybe it wasn't a hangout time. I'm just looking to see what other people say. You know the eyeball, the eyes where somebody's looking. Y'all can use my glasses with the lipstick emoji and we'll use that as we're looking. I bet there's a lot going on with everyone and we don't know where to start, right? Anyone else feel like that? That's true. Like my itching. Oh yeah, that's right. Polly, how are you? That's right. Kathy had this itching episode and we were trying to connect the dots and then you're just exhausted. Yeah. Yeah. Listen, the times are changing, the energy is changing, but how do I explain this? It's like the energy of all of us is so big that it's just starting to gear up, right? So eventually we'll all be so much better. It's just starting to gear up, right? So it's almost like we have to like go through this muddy, it's just a lot of energy. I wouldn't even say muddy, just a lot of energy, right? So if a lot of us are one vibration, right, to get to the expanded different frequency, it's going to take a lot of us to do that. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but it will feel like, oh, but then when enough of us do it, oh, I know how to say. So if you have a big table, right, and it's heavy and you got to move it into the dining area, right? It's so heavy when there's only two people doing it. But then when three, four, five, and 10 do it, when 10 or 15 people are moving this table, then it's like light as a feather, right? That's what we're doing right now. It's like us, not just us group, but society. There's only two people holding the table right now, right? As more people become aware, as more people start getting into this vibration, it's like y'all are so good at holding the space that y'all are holding this vibration as everybody moves into it. But once we get 100 people holding the table, I mean that's just a number I threw out to give you the concept. Then you can hold it with your finger. You know, it's not going to be hard at all. It's just we're in that time right now. That's what this. That's what this. We're going from here to here, right? We're taking from our identities, right? Pisces end of the chart, Neptune, other worlds, other aspects, other lives that we've lived, and incorporating some sort of identity here. Because where we're going is abundance. Where we're going is all those. is like, it's no longer we don't have enough food, we don't have the right thing. It's not going to be that. Like, and we can't just jump to that because it's a different frequency, right? We're incorporating what we need for that time. Make sense? Hanging in. Good, Polly. Rebecca says, I had one of those. Kathy broke out in hives and never found out why. It got sorted though. Yeah. I'm having so many changes lately. Yeah. That's Brittany says that. So many moving pieces, but now in a fog waiting for it to unfold. Perfect. So I'm glad she mentioned thank you, Brittany, for mentioning the fog. We're not supposed to know yet. We're still forming it. Okay. So you may be really directed, and that's Aries. That's the frustration that you can have, right? So Aries, you may know, um, like I know I'm not gonna stay here. I know I'm gonna go that way, but I don't know what that way is or how that is complete, right? You're still in the fog. Neptune at 29 degrees, right? The North Node stuff is coming through. Your other lives, your other characteristics, talents, gifts, things that are coming through, right? And so we're still forming this. It's almost like you're at the store and saying, okay, I'm gonna need that ingredient. No, maybe I don't need that one. Maybe I need this one. Maybe this one's better. Like that's what we're doing, right? So we don't know. You could still be in this. All of us is still in this fog. This is why we've had Saturn really working with us about our faith. Have faith in yourself. You understand. Stand in your power. There's Pluto. Have faith in yourself. You've already been proven by Uranus that you can make something out of nothing. You've already been proven by Uranus that there is plenty to go around. Working in that mindset, you can trust yourself more. Things are foggy for a reason. So give yourself some grace. That is an issue that Aries can have, is not giving themselves some grace, giving themselves compassion. Oh my God, they will give it to like so many other people, right? If the people they love, they will like really give them compassion and grace and excuses for people, right? But they will never do that for themselves. That's an issue. That's something that Venus and Mercury are working through, right? So, um, so give yourself some grace. So by that I mean give yourself permission to know that, to not know exactly how this dream is going to be completed. Okay? Give yourself some grace for not knowing the exact dream of how it is, and don't think that you're going to miss anything because you've changed your dream, right? This is what it's still forming. There's a reason why this Neptune is 29 degrees, right? So Polly also says chances dealing with a bad ear infection, can't seem to get beyond it. I'm laughing because if I didn't laugh, I hope y'all understand when I laugh, it's because if I don't laugh, it's going to be something else, and that's not good for anybody. But it's when I laugh, it doesn't mean I'm like, I mean, I think y'all know that about me, but I've had some people recently, y'all know what I'm talking about, like question that, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Uh, because I didn't do the appropriate thing that you thought I should do. When have I ever? That is not me. So back to, I'll laugh because it's just a way of me like soaking it in. I'm a Sag moon. I will laugh until I don't, and when I don't, that's not a good thing, right? So I'm laughing because I am so frustrated with people suffering unnecessarily. That's why I'm laughing. I know that sounds crazy and weird, right? Um, but it's almost like me letting it go and not trying to like control it. Okay? Like it is it is ridiculous that people have suffered for so long unnecessarily. There are plants, There are things, there are modalities, there are ways, right? So I hope that you understand that. It just frustrates me. It's the Chiron wound for me. It is. It's like, if somebody could just, I don't know. I don't even know. Have these ways to help. But because of the society we live in, I am forced, restricted, not to be able to have that identity yet. But that's what I'm working on, right? Does that make sense? It's plain old hives that runs through our system when we hold things inside, Rebecca. Yeah, yeah, it is. Not at all. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's why it's almost like me just saying, okay, I'm getting to that point. We're getting to that space. I'll give you another example. It's like when I was a child and I could not, I still don't. Um, I could not let it go. I could not understand. At the time, I could not. I understand completely why it is or how it is, but I never, it doesn't sit right with me. It never has, even when I was a child. As a child, I was confused. As an adult, I'm just pissed about it. I don't understand why, as this abundant society, there are people, let's not even go into the veterans people, right? But people who have no roof over their head, who have no protection from the elements, who have no food. I don't understand. It makes me upset because how can we build a rocket to go to Mars and the moon, but we cannot house our people here? I don't get it. It doesn't sit right with me. It never has. I don't think it ever will until it gets done. But I know that I'm not the only one that can fix this. We have to like pull together as a group. There are people that have genius energy. There are people. So when I hear somebody saying they're suffering with something and it is so unnecessary because the doctors from 1973 decided to change the protocols and do what Big Pharma wants to do, for that reason you have to suffer because they just think inside the box. That's why, so that they can make their pharmaceutical companies happy and the people they work for happy. Yet in their code is I do no harm. I don't understand. I don't. It just upsets me. It just upsets. See, I laugh because I'm like, I'll blow up the world. I don't get it. That makes sense to everybody. So the only way I can explain myself is to say, if you hear me laughing about something, it doesn't mean I'm making light of it. Well, it does kind of in a way mean I'm changing the energy in it so that I don't attach and my ego doesn't get involved where I try to um, rule that on my own. I hope that makes sense. That makes sense to everybody. It just infuriates me. It infuriates me. I mean, if Tina will let me, I'll say, yeah, if Tina will let me, I'll tell you that's like one thing that has infuriated me. They took that out of the creed. Can you? Oh, they did? When did they take that out? Yeah. I mean, let me not say it. Let Tina say it. It just infuriates me the fact that she has had to suffer unnecessarily because the doctors are doing what the pharmaceuticals companies are telling them to do. And because way back then, a president was best friends with somebody that had a lot of money and he wanted to take over the whole health industry. So, for that reason, we have to suffer. People have to suffer. I gotta go read that creed again then. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. This makes me upset. I guess these things are coming out because we're tired of it. It's done. We don't need it anymore. We're not in Capricorn structural. We're gonna listen to them, blah 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 blah. Let's climb the ladder, blah 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 blah. Right? Like maybe that's why that's coming up because it's time to like for us to look at that stuff and say enough. We're not doing that anymore. Enough. Yeah, absolutely. Kathy says they are the real uh, drug pushers. Agreed. Infuriating. Yeah. So, like from an Aquarius standpoint, I'm looking at it and saying, like, yeah, it's infuriating, but are enough people infuriated that we're going to move this, right? Are enough people mad? Are enough people saying that we're not having this anymore, that we're going to change this? That's this 12th house. I mean, it's 12th house. That's this Pisces moving into Aries, right? Um, so for me, I'll tell you, this is Aries is my second house, right? So Aries and Taurus. Taurus starts about 25 degrees. But Aries is my second house, and Chiron and Venus are in my Aries, and Saturn are in my Aries, right? So, like for me, it is about worthiness and how I make my money and blah, 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 right? So, yeah, that Chiron there is that wound. So, Tina says, being a pharmacy tech, I've watched many, many, many patients qualify for life diminishing, quality of life diminishing before my eyes just from pill and pill being pushed on them with no other options. And the whole issue is that there's always been another option. They have just made us to believe that there are no other options. And it's not even that far gone, like to understand that there are other options. There have always been other options, you know? It's just a suffering that just that infuriates me more than anything. An unnecessary suffering. It makes me upset. So, but I guess we all need to be upset enough to be able to change this, right? Yeah, because that's how we as humans move. We're not going to move on anything unless we are that uncomfortable. Period. It's just the way life is. Hey, Witch, how are you? Kathy was asking about you. I'm still here because of herbs. Thank you, Kathy. Yeah, good. Are you better? But I'm glad that we're all talking about it because this is that lunar eclipse. What are we letting go? What are we completing? What are we understanding better? What do we need to bring here? Right? What do we need to bring here through this portal as we change timelines? For some of you, will say that way, right? Uh, what timeline are we going to change to? What vibration are we going to change to? And because Pluto is aspected, this is generational. Because Neptune is here, this is generational. Saturn is here, that generation turns to personal. The sun is here. That's personal, right? Tammy, you were missed. People were asking about you. The cayenne pepper's working. Yay! Thanks for bringing that up because we are talking about that stuff. Yeah. Yeah, you're missed. You're missed, Tammy. People love you. You mean something in this world. Yeah, yay for cayenne pepper. She was having some tummy issues, and I just said, look, the way your country and my country are right now, let me just tell you what to get. And let me tell you how to do it. Work in 6 days. Yeah, that's what I figured. That's what I think that's what I told Kathy because Kathy had asked about you too. I think that's what I said. Was like she's doing much better. She's just working a lot. You and Wendy. Wendy's working a lot too. Wendy finally got to call me for 5 minutes. Was it yesterday? Did I say it was yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. She got to call me for 5 minutes. I know everybody's changing. Everybody's lives are changing. There are some completions. There's some endings going on. So, um, we women, men, whoever's on here, we work together. That's the best way that we're going to get through all of this. So I'm just making sure nobody has any questions, or does anybody want to like just say what they don't get to usually say? It's stupidity crazy with walk-in readings. Well, I did put that up on. I know. I was about to say, didn't that isn't that what you wanted? And now you're gonna complain. This isn't that what you wanted? And so this should tell everybody right now. We're in a Venus and Mercury retrograde, and she's still getting a lot of clients. Right? That should tell you. Well, what do you want to identify as? What are you trying to be? Are you trying to be your true authentic self? Right? Like which you guys know we always need evidence, right? Because that's who I am. So there's our evidence. Tammy coming in here and saying, it's retrograde, but I'm still, it's fine. You can do it. As long as you're standing in your truth. As long as you're trying to build that area of your life, right? And so for her, she's a Cancer sun, right? So, um, what is that? 11? Sorry, 12, 11, 10. Look at her 10th house. That's her 10th house from her sun. Okay. If we look at it from her sun, that's her 10th house right here. So honestly, that house would be up here for her, right? It's her 10th house of her work, of her career, of her reputation, of how she's being seen. It's a retrograde. She works with me, so she's been working with all you women do, but she knows what she's doing, and she still has people coming in. Her money is fine. She's identifying with that. I mean, she does have some other things going on in her chart that makes her be able to manifest easy. She's just the one that gets in her way, right? Right, good complaint to have. um, but retrogrades don't have to be about, oh, I'm gonna lose it, or I'm not gonna have it, or it's gonna be delayed. It kind of depends. It depends on your chart, which is why you go see an astrologer, right? Cindy's herbs are infused with magic. That's that's so nice of you to say. Yeah, you know what? I will say yes. Yes. It's not just my magic though. It's whoever the person I'm working with. It's their magic too, right? I'm just sitting here in retrograde, etc., and watching it happen and hoping for the best. Yeah, if that's what it takes for you, Rebecca, just to watch, observe, and then take it in, right? Been taking the lemon bob herb too every morning. Good. Is that helping a lot? I'm so happy. I'm glad. Well, I knew. So, Tammy, I knew when you hadn't, we hadn't talked again that you were doing fine. I was like, okay, that must have worked. I have no idea what's going on. Well, yes. Remember what I was saying, Rebecca? Because Neptune is at the 29th degree. It's supposed to be cloudy right now for everybody. Everybody. It's supposed to be. We're in that transition phase. We're in that transmutation phase. We're in that yeah, transformative phase. I mean, I do because of your videos. They're really helping. Oh, good. Good. I'm glad. But just chilling and looking for more info. Yeah. Yeah. Huh. And because you said that, and immediately my Virgo South Node is like, are you doing enough? Did you have enough? Did you? It's that Chiron. It's my second house messing with me. Kathy knows because I've explained it to her. Oh, did you do enough? Do you have enough? Did you blah blah blah? So I had to like talk to myself and say, no, calm down. That's what y'all just saw happening. Did I study enough? Did I translate enough? Did I do enough? Did I put enough out? Oh my God, that second house. I'm telling y'all, if y'all looked at my chart, I've got so much energy in that seventh house that you would think that's my problem house. That's not my problem. It's got Pluto in that seventh house, Uranus in that seventh house. What the hell? It's got Uranus, Pluto. It's got all the big planets in there. You would think that's where my fear is and that's where my challenge is. That's not. I'm not saying it can't be a challenge because it can, but that's not like something that I'm like can't figure out. Like I've figured most of it out. I'm not saying I figured all of it out. But my second house is what's the issue. The issue. We all have issues. That's my issue. I've got I've got Chiron in there. I've got Saturn in there, and I've got Venus in there. So it's almost like I'm going to tell y'all this way because this is funny the way that I see it sometimes, right? It's almost like the universe will slap me and then Venus will come love me. It's kind of like toxic, don't you think? Hey, Nacy, it's Shannon, right? It's almost like that. It's like, bam, they slap me, and then all of a sudden, here comes Venus to give me the love after. It's just crazy. Rebecca said, you're speaking to so many of us. You do a great job covering wide ground while not getting so specific that we don't understand. Great. I'm perfect. Thank you. Thank you for saying that, Rebecca. I'm glad that you were able to join, Shannon. I also read That's So You. Rebecca says, you do it amazingly. You make the world make a little bit more sense for me. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that means a lot to me because a lot of you have been with me for a long time. And y'all know over the years, it's crazy antics. Me too, not being notified when you're live. Yeah, the only way to guarantee that is be a member, and you already are. But even if you're a member, you only get notified for the member stuff, not the public stuff, right? I'm working with that algorithm, and y'all can see that it's getting better. But I am working with that algorithm to to have more of y'all for YouTube, for that algorithm to like push it out to more of y'all, right? So yeah. Well, I'm so glad that everybody came in. I'm glad that you guys saw me and are able to talk. I really just wanted to gather the group, but I also wanted to talk a little bit about the retrogrades, that because they're important, these two. So I just want to talk a little bit about that, and I didn't want us to forget about Chiron here, right? And this is a long haul, okay? Like we're talking the next 5 years, as well as like till 2039. That's what's going on, right? So Neptune is going to be here for 14 years, is going to be in this house, right? So there are bigger movements that you are wanting to identify as in the next at least 5 years, but it's going to encompass all that 14 years. And it's not just you on a personal level, but it's society too, because we've got these bigger outer planets. At some point, they're going to be like trining, and these are all positive. It's all positive. It's not negative. Thank you, Shannon. These are all positive. These, yay! I always miss it because I have that other screen up. But did y'all see it? Oh, there it is. Thank you, Shannon. I appreciate it. But these are all positive aspects that are happening. These are all, it's almost like we have done so much work that it's the universe and Mother Earth and this vibration. It's like they're holding us. They're like, yeah, now's the time. Yeah, here's the thing. We just want to make sure that you're doing that, right? Um, Thank you. So I just saw, let's celebrate their third your super chat on live stream. I appreciate you doing that, Shannon. Um, Giving me my third one. She's 3 times given me, so thank you. I appreciate that. And I want to acknowledge that. So, you all are very special to me. It mean a lot. So, thank you, Shannon. Because we had just talked about. She said you deserve it, and that Chiron in me is like, "Are you sure? Did I do enough?" It's like this thing that I got to get rid of. I know that sounds crazy. I know. Because when I'm talking to somebody, you just buy her dinner, right? I wish, um, what was I gonna say? It's like, it's so crazy because if I say it out loud, like when I'm telling people, if I say it out loud, what I've studied, what I have, the titles and the all the hours and hours and hours of not just the study but the experience with clients, with family, with whatever, right? If I say that out loud, it seems like a lot, and I'm like, that's a lot that you've done, right? So I'm like thinking, that sounds crazy that I even have an issue with thinking, did I do enough? Like, that shouldn't even be a question, right? But it only happens when I say it out loud that I'm like, oh, maybe there is something to me doing it enough, right? So, yeah, that's what I'm telling you. I don't know what the second house for me, I don't know what the holdup is what I'm saying. I don't know what the holdup is. You would think it's my seventh house, it's the holdup. I'm gonna have to look at this again. Maybe it's my seventh house connected to my second house. I don't know. Dinner, lunch here, then supper. Right. Yeah, I told you guys uh my late husband, um and his family's from Canada too, actually, BC. But he would always call it Linner. I know. I know you would think. I don't know. I'll figure it out because I've always figured it out. And it's probably the simplest thing. It's probably like this tiny little point of view that I need to change, right? And probably that. See, we all have our thing. So I'm going to say one more thing about the chart and what we talked about because several of you have said, and we brought this up several times, um, of how we can't see. Like I don't know what's going on. I just kind of know. I'm just going to go for the ride, right? I'm going to be aware. I'm going to make my choices, but I'm going to go for the ride. It's not like clear yet, right? Remember, today's the 15th, the 19th. The sun is Kazemi Neptune, right? He's already Kazemi Saturn, right? So there were some things that happened. There were some things we're adjusting and changing and kind of seeing, oh, I don't know where I'm going, but I see this step, right? That's the manifestor, Saturn, believing in yourself, right? So this Neptune 29 degree is a little makes it everything a little bit foggy, but that's on purpose by us, um, our higher selves. We'll say it that way. Okay, so he's going to come over here, the sun, right? And he's going to Kazemi. So he's going to be right here. So there's going to be some things that are clearing up. Okay, because then what you didn't see before, even though you're working on it and like really being open and really listening to me and really beginning to attract instead of like trying to push it, right? Then he's going to come in Kazemi Venus, and that's on the 22nd. So the 19th, something's going to clear up for you, for all of us, okay? Something's going to clear up for all of us. On this day, we're going to see things a little bit differently. We're going to get a little opening, get a little understanding, see a little bit more clear. And then he's going to come on the 22nd and he's going to Kazemi Venus retrograde. So, oh, I thought I was doing it that way, but I should do it this way. Oh, and when he comes to Venus retrograde, you could get a gift. If that's what it takes for you to understand and change your perception, then that's what it takes, right? It just kind of depends on your chart, your life, the way that you are, right? So, but there is some light coming here. There's light coming here. There's some clarity coming here, right? There's some clarity coming here with that Venus. You could get some money. You could get the position. You could understand better. You could get a new date. You could have somebody come into your life. It's this Kazemi, right? And then he's going to Kazemi Mercury. Okay, so he's going to Kazemi Mercury on the 24th. So the 19th, the 22nd, and the 24th, right? And that all happens where you get some understanding. This is why I think something's going to happen here, because then Venus comes here and conjuncts Neptune. So there's something about the way that you're transforming this and wanting to identify that's going to like change. Okay, so just understand that's this next week. I just wanted to say that really quickly. I hope something becomes clear because I'm in need as well. Yeah, all of us. It's like we sense it, but I told you guys, Pisces, Neptune, use your other senses. Use your other senses. Okay? But the sun's going to come here and help you see physically too, right? Or see the way, but right away there's a physical thing coming. Okay? That's Venus and Mercury, right? A way to do it. That makes sense? So, Shannon, go back and look at the first part of this, or you can wait till I'm gonna cut this down and put this out probably Monday or Tuesday. I'm working on the April ones right now. Yeah. So, but I wanted to get on here and just talk to everybody, see how everybody's doing, and remind you of Venus and Mercury retrograde. And these, like I say, always, these energies are here to help us. Like, let's not think they're against us or trying to ruin everything or just going to mess it. They're not. They're here to help us. So let's use them, right? Thank you, Shannon. Yeah. So, thank you all for joining. If nobody has any questions, I'm going to go eat before I get in trouble by Tina and Kathy for not eating because I forgot. And I'm going to go love on my grandbaby. Oh, I love him so much. I'm going to love on my grandbaby, give him some attention. He is finally sleeping later, finally. This has been a hard 2 or 3 weeks for him. He'd been getting up really early. So, Grand's at the bed. Yeah, he's my baby. And my daughter's my baby. They're both my babies. Yeah. And they're doing wonderful. So much better. Yeah. And again, Shannon, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Yeah, love you. Bye. He's waiting for you. He is waiting. Kathy could always tell. Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you for coming in. I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.